Hello, my friends from the League of Minnesota Women Voters. My name is Amy Klobuchar, and I am so honored to have your support to be the next U.S. president. As you know, in Minnesota, we like to say, paraphrasing Minnesota native Garrison Keillor, Minnesota is a state where all the women are strong, all the men are good looking, and all the voters are above average. And tonight is no exception. Like all of my campaign stops, tonight I see determination. I see persistence. I see Americans, and I see the struggles. But I also see people who dare to dream, people who have a vision for the future, and people who stand up for a better tomorrow. And I want you all to know that I will dream, fight, and persist alongside all of you. And now, in a time plagued with partisan divides that run deeper every day, we need a leader that can bring us back together and remind us that before we are Republicans or Democrats, Christians or Muslims, black or white, we are above all else Americans. And as Americans, together we stand. The point is, differences exist among us. Differences in values, beliefs, backgrounds, and even ideologies. This is true for every nook and cranny of the country. The president should be leading the nation and finding common ground between us. A leader lives by and strives for one America, where our American spirit unites us before any differences divide us. Issues such as immigration, healthcare, and education are so important, and addressing them successfully requires bipartisanship, drive, and even sometimes a little creativity. But any approach can only be effective if the desire for cooperation exists first. Speaking of healthcare, I began my political career after my own experience with healthcare, or lack thereof. Back in 1995, my daughter Abigail was born, and when she was born, she had a condition preventing her from swallowing. After only 24 hours, I was forced to leave the hospital. My fear for my daughter's health was only made worse by the short stay, so I vowed to do something. So I marched into the Minnesota State Capitol, and I pushed the legislature to pass laws that changed the rule. I was even asked to help write the bill that guaranteed a 48-hour hospital stay for new mothers. The bill was passed with bipartisan support in Minnesota, and then, in 1996, it was signed into law, federal law, by President Bill Clinton. My experiences helped me realize there are so many issues with the American healthcare system. And if my experiences tell you anything, healthcare in America needs a lot of work. The costs are too high, the coverage is not adequate, and the access is limited. As president, I will work to ensure that there's universal healthcare coverage for every single American. This is the 21st century. Healthcare should no longer be a privilege, but an American right. Come November 3rd, America will be full of hope and possibilities. I am hopeful for the future, for America, and for you. I'm hopeful that Republicans and Democrats can work together. I am hopeful because when the president decided to take us out of the climate change agreement, cities, states, and businesses kept working to meet the goals anyways. I'm hopeful because while our president was crying witch hunt, Congress has undertaken a bipartisan truth hunt. Russian interference in our elections is not just election security. It is national security. There is just still so much to be hopeful about. These examples give me faith that there are still consequences for actions. And my hope is my fuel. And my fight is my promise. You and I are not going to sleep through this moment in history. We are wide awake, taking all of this in and ready to create change together. So today I am asking you all my friends and fellow female voters, to stand up, not just in words, but in action. Just look at how much we've been able to do together. On day 2 after President Trump was sworn into office, millions marched in Washington for the first ever Women's March. On day 3, 6,000 of those women marching signed up to run for office. On day 186, when the president tried to take away health care coverage from millions of Americans, we stood united, we stood up, and the Senate Democrats said no. And guess what? We won. But that couldn't have happened without the bipartisan support of 3 courageous Republicans. A show of just how important bipartisanship can be. And on day 728, the midterm elections, there was a record number of women elected to the House of Representatives, 123 to be exact, easily beating the old record of 84. But on November 3rd, we'll be voting for the next president, On that day, with the wind at our back, with a lot of hard work, and with the help of all of you, we are going to send a clear message to the world. Americans are not just resisting. We are insisting on a better way forward. Again, I am so honored to be your Democratic candidate for President of the United States. I look forward to the future, to making history together, to making change together, and to improving American lives together. With your help, today will be the beginning of a historic and successful era of American history. Together on November 3rd, we will take the White House, we will take Congress, and we will build one America. Thank you.